Diamond P Sports presents from the National Hot Rod Association Championship Drag Racing, the Silver Anniversary Winter Nationals. Speeds in excess of 260 miles an hour, covering the quarter mile in less than 6 seconds. Drag racing from the NHRA.
It was time to begin a new season for Sim Racing Authority, and they start things off with the Xfinity cars, the Elwood Designs. Xfinity Series came to the Daytona International Speedway Circa 07 with all the bumps you can ask for. And also as a new incentive this season, there was also team racing involved, as drivers were recruited to be a part of different teams, and the top 3 points finishers from both series would have their points combined, and that would be your point total after that certain weekend. We kick things off on lap 25. Freddie De La Rosa was locked in a duel with good old catfish David Fish, as they were 2x2 from most of the way, as drivers were struggling with the bumps and handling with their cars. Lap 30, things got ugly. Freddie De La Rosa and David Fish would collide on the front straightaway. They would both slide through the grass. Luckily, they would not hit anything, no damage to their cars, but the yellow would not come out, and they would stay green. And all that mayhem and allowed Ariati to take the lead for the first time in the race, but he was under pressure by the 42 of David Shutt, as those guys would start dueling for the lead down the back straightaway. Then a couple laps later, lap 33, Ariani would drift up a bit out of turn 2. Kaden Henry goes for the lead, but Adi blocks. That sets up a chain reaction. Henry drops to the apron. They go free wide behind, and that allows David Shutt to take the lead, albeit very briefly. Because exiting turn 3 and 4, David Shutt would open the door for Delonte Ballard, and he would go by and take the lead, and he would actually lead lap 33. Then Kaden Henry later on in turn 3 and 4 would lose the back end right in front of the field. He would only collect Ariati in this melee. Both of them then would continue rolling, and no caution would come out, and that happened on lap 35. Then after green flag pit stops, lap 51, Kyle Putz inherited the lead, but here came Marcus Richardson, the 18, with help from Darik Bourdeau. He would blow by, and he would take over the lead for the first time in the race. And then a lap later, on lap 52, they were free wide in the corner, and then Delonte Ballard clips the apron, gets into Darik Bourdeau. They both go spinning the inside. Lachlan McMillan had to swing the car wide to avoid hitting anything. No damage would be a result from this, but the car sliding around onto the track would cause the first caution to come out. After the restart on lap 60, Marcus Richardson had the lead. Brett Boncari would make a bold move to go for the lead. He gets blocked by Richardson. He would just hang on, but then behind him, David Shutt gets into Freddie De La Rosa, who slides up in front of Nick Northrup, who has a violent crash. This wreck also collects Riley Wise, making his return to SRA. Luis Salmaso was among also the other drivers involved, but the main concern was the number 6 machine of Nick Northrup, who defies the laws of physics and goes flying high in the air. He would be okay, except for maybe his stomach. Then recent lap 65, Brett Boncari was running second when he inadvertently smacks David Fish onto the apron of the track. That would ensue a mad scramble at the exit of turn 2 with cars all over the place. And then in turn 3 and 4, Jonathan Shipman would clip the apron. He would lose control, smack Kyle Putz, and all this chaos allowed Justin Gable to take the lead for the first time. And then on lap 66, Cody Miller comes right in front of Christian Snyder. He gets hooked by the 55. He and the 14 of Christopher Matthews would get together in the exit turn 2. Those three would crash, and the third yellow of the race would come out. Then later on, lap 73, they were free wide ahead, but they came up on the lap car. Jonathan Shipman, Nicholas Carrezzo had to react to avoid it. Darik Bourdeau gets hooked, and that causes the big one. And notable drivers involved were David Shutt, Brett Boncari, Austin Roberts, Caden Henry, and Delonte Ballard were among the main guys involved. Also, Ronnie Norman and Lachlan McMillan, Kyle Putz were also involved in the big one. As the laps winding down on lap 80, Femi Olat went for the lead on Marcus Richardson, the defending series champion. Didn't have a lot of help as Richardson would get help from the 17 of Nicholas Carrezzo to slide up in front, and he would take the lead right back once again. And then at the start finish on lap 81, Darik Bourdeau makes contact with David Fish, who then gets into Matt Simpson. Those two were crashing into the wall, and also Blake Freeman was also an unfortunate part of this wreck. And that would prove to be the final caution of the race, as the race would end under the yellow flag, and Marcus Richardson would go on to take the win at the season opener at the Daytona International Speedway for the Elwood Designs Xfinity Series. The final results: Marcus Richardson with the win, Nicholas Carrezzo second, Femi Olat was third, Tyler Sharp fourth, John Berry fifth, Ariani, Darik Bourdeau, Matt Simpson, Blake Freeman, Cody Miller were rounding up the top 10. We'll take a quick break and come back with the SRA Gen 6 Cup Series highlights at Daytona.
An engine with more miles on it than you, Neil.
Yes, Steve, but the key is how you wear those miles.
I deserve that. You know, there is something we both agree on, though. Restore really works.
That's because Restore is a totally different product. The CSL particles act on the engine's metal surfaces to fill scratches and worn-out areas.
Restore makes a big difference in older cars and trucks. It restores lost compression and power and maintains engine performance 2 to 3 times its normal life.
Now, if we could only find something to restore life in certain announcers.
Sports Sundays. You'll have the inside track with TV's only series devoted exclusively to NASCAR competition. Former national champion and Hall of Fame driver Ned Jarrett and Steve Burns take you to all the action with weekly race highlights, on-location features, and behind-the-scenes interviews with NASCAR personalities. Track all the action that is NASCAR inside Winston Cup Racing. Sundays at 8 Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on TNN.
I love my new hot rod. Those flames scare the other guys. 5,000 horsepower helps too. And a fat bankroll. You know, we've been running Autolite spark plugs forever, but I can wring more money out of someone else. Money's good. My crew burns it. So I tell the guys we're gonna run a different plug. They say no. I say I'm the boss. They say Autolite keeps this monster lit. So I tell them I was just kidding.
Sim Racing 40 Gen 6 Series presented by J. Robin Free would make their debut at the Daytona National Speedway under the current surface, so you didn't have to worry about all the crazy bumps that the Circa 07 track had to offer. And it was the leader of Clamp Nation and NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series winner Logan Clampett. He would lead the field to the green flag with Tyler Deshawn, Darik Bourdeau, Ari Adi, and Connor Anton as the field would roll for 90 laps around the Daytona National Speedway. I mentioned before, under the current surface, you didn't have to worry about any bumps. Going to lap 6 would be a stark contrast to what happened in the Xfinity race. The majority of the field would run single file as no one was able to get the high line going very early on in the race. That would change lap 22 as David Shutt would get the outside line going, and he would briefly, and I mean briefly, take the lead away from Logan Clampett to get a lap lead. But Logan would eventually get the lead back using the bottom line to his advantage and help from Darik Bourdeau, the defending series champion. Then in lap 28, the only caution would come out of the race as Tyler Ducharme hooks David Shutt as they were checking up for Femi Olat. He would spin and Delonte would get a slight piece of it. However, RJ Williams was not as fortunate and he got a bigger piece of the wreck. And that would be the only caution of the race on lap 28. Fast forward later on to lap 41 as Logan Clampett would continue the lead. Everyone would be running single file and then would continue even right through green flag pit stops as well. And fast forwarding all the way to lap 73, after those green flag pit stops, Femi Olat would go to the outside of Tyler Ducharme, would go with him, as he and Bourdeau, the two champions from the previous season, would fight it out for the lead, and Olat would get the better of him, only 2 cars on the outside line. Then lap 83, Connor Anton and Freddie De La Rosa make contact not once but twice. Anton gets smashed into the inside. He would slide up in front of David Fish, had nowhere to go. Justin Gable did a great job to avoid it. Luckily, no one else would get involved, and the yellow would not come out as a result. Fast forward to the final lap, Femi Olat had Darik Bourdeau right on his heels. Bourdeau would go to the outside, Olat would make a couple blocks on the back straightaway, shove him to the apron of the track, and that would prove to be the winning move, as Femi Olat, like the Xfinity Series champion, would start off the Cup season with a bang and win at the Daytona National Speedway for his first Cup win of the season. Final results, Femi Olat wins, Darik Bourdeau was second, Logan Clayman was third, Hunter Combs fourth, Nicholas Kressel fifth, Tyler Ducharme sixth, Nick Norfolk, Freddie De La Rosa, Jeff S. Davis started 29th, finished 9th, and Lachlan McMillan rounded out the top 10. In the team standings, Cycle Spitter Morris was at 123 points, GMHR of 110, Rapid Dart Racing with 100, Heavy Harris Motorsport with 95, East Coast Outlaws Racing 65, the Part-Timers 53, and the Grinch with 36 points.